Okay guys, welcome to my first virtual classroom here, second week off from school. So I'm going to try to tie some loose ends here with what we finished with during school and then what you guys have been working on this week. So if you have any questions after this video, hopefully it helps with that. So the Enlightenment's where we left off with. You guys took your quiz. I got most of them back. Make sure you do your quiz if you have not. Major ideas with the Enlightenment. Things like liberty, major themes, equality, natural rights, toleration, everything we read about and studied and discussed with our enlightened thinkers. These are all prominent, and they become really the driving forces for new governments really around the globe. We're going to focus on the American Revolution. So with these natural rights, with these ideas of liberty and progress, people are basically tired of absolute rulers. They're tired of monarchies taxing, doing what they want, little to no rights, no political freedom, and really the king and queens decide what's going to happen. And people are tired of that. And we're going to start to see these major themes play out. And a lot of those themes are going to inspire the American Revolution. And I know we have studied the American Revolution, or you have in middle school. We don't have a lot on it because you will take U.S. history eventually, but I'm going to highlight some key details here. Starting obviously with the British, and Britain is in a little bit of trouble. They're in major debt. And they're in major debt because of the 7 Years' War. All right, you guys took some notes on the 7 Years' War. And basically, Britain is able to defeat France for colonial possessions in North America, but they're in major debt. So what King George III does, and with Parliament, is that he taxes the colonists in these newly won territories in the 13 colonies. So he starts to tax the colonists. And I know we've heard the phrase before, no taxation without representation. And the major idea is that colonists were not being represented in Parliament. Right? They were not being represented there. And these taxes were levied on them, and they thought that was unfair. So with taxes comes protests. And protests begin in Boston, Massachusetts. In Philadelphia and other places, eventually spread throughout the colonies. But protests begin. We see, the Boston Massacre happen. We see the Boston Tea Party happen. Taxes are being levied on things like stamps, paper products, even playing cards, tea, sugar, everything that's imported and exported from the colonies, to the colonies and from the colonies. So protests happen. Then protests lead to more fighting. Britain sends troops to Boston, and fighting begins to occur. And it starts obviously there, but happens all over the 13 colonies. Right? 1775 with Lexington and Concord. Eventually all these major battles, Bunker Hill, Saratoga, eventually lead to Yorktown. So fighting begins. And what happens is the U.S., newly formed U.S., they just write the Declaration of Independence. They try to establish peace with the Olive Branch Petition. It doesn't work. And they seek help. And they gain help from France. And they do. The French end up helping the colonists, right? They help from France, from the colonists. And they help the colonists because they don't like King George III, because they lost the 7 Years' War. So this is their way of getting back at the British and back at the crown for defeating them in the 7 Years' War. And with the help from the French, with spy networks and with the Patriot cause, the newly formed USA wins. Right? Obviously, we know this for a number of reasons, and they form this new, country, founded on the ideas of the Enlightenment, right? Founded on liberty and equality. They write the Constitution, and we'll get into this, right? The First Amendment and natural rights. Thomas Jefferson writes about in the Declaration of Independence. So a lot of those things that people are thinking about, start to become prevalent in this new government, right? Government, and we'll study that. So, moving on, last thing here, and I'm going to just detail this, the French Revolution, right? So again, ideas are going to inspire, right? The French Revolution begins for a number of reasons. Very, very similar to the American Revolution. I know they're compared and contrasted a lot, but it starts out as the same. Well, France is in debt, right? They're in debt just like the British were in debt. War is a very expensive thing. And they're in debt not just from the 7 Years' War, but from helping the Patriots in the American Revolution, right? They borrow a lot of money from foreign banks, right? The British do this as well, and they're in major debt. So King Louis the 16th, who some of us did our research projects on, right? King Louis the 16th does the same thing that King George III does, and he taxes his people, his subjects. And France right now is very divided in a class system between the first, second, and third estate, and he heavily taxes the third estate. And the third estate is basically the peasants or lower class. And the third estate are very unhappy at this. The first and second estate, the clergy and the nobles, don't have to pay a lot in taxes, even though they make a lot of money. So the third estate says, I'm out of here. And they form a new government, their own government, called the National Assembly. So again, very similar to the American Revolution. France is in debt from the 70 Years' War and helping the Americans in the American Revolution. King Louis has to tax his subjects. He puts a lot of taxes on the third estate. They're going to form this new government called the National Assembly. And now King Louis and the third estate are really who are fighting, his government in the third estate with this new National Assembly. So we're going to start to see some things unfold, but this is the beginning of the French Revolution, 1789, right now. Right, so that kind of ends where we are. Enlightenment ideas inspire the American Revolution. France and Britain are in debt from war, and we're going to see these new governments start to form in the United States, obviously a successful one, and the National Assembly, which is successful for a while, and then we'll find out what happens next. All right, so that is going to end my first virtual lesson. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and we'll discuss this later this week. Thanks, guys.